Hello friends, welcome to software engineering lecture classes. In this video we are going to study about spiral model. It is also one of the software development lifecycle model and it is very important model as we are going to study why it is very important. Let us see some various points about the spiral model. Spiral model was introduced in 1986 by Barry Boehm. It is the first model in which the risk factor was introduced. Previously, all the models have neglected the risk factor. That is why they are not very apt or suitable for any bigger projects. All the previous models have neglected risk and therefore major projects have failed as nobody has prepared for unseen happen, as I have told you previously. So this is the graph of the spiral model as the each phase is in the form of spiral. That is why this model was named as spiral model. As you can see, we have various phases in this model. We have divided our complete model into 6 phases, and the various phases are customer communication, planning, risk analysis, engineering, construction and release, and customer evaluation. After the completion of each cycle, a prototype is generated and it is given to the customer for evaluation. Like all the previous models we have seen. So the new thing which has brought in spiral model is the risk analysis part, which made this model a very unique model for larger projects or complex projects. Let us see, as it contains various phases and as it also included the risk analysis, so it is time consuming and it is only applicable for larger projects. If we going to apply this spiral model on our smaller projects, it is going to be very expensive because in larger projects only we have to deal with the risk factor, because for smaller projects we do not it is not necessary to calculate risk as the risk factor is very minimum. Each loop of spiral represents one phase, and each phase is completed with a review by the people concerned with the project. As I told you earlier, that each phase is completed after the generation of a prototype. With a review, I mean to say that the prototype, and then it is concerned by the people. It is evaluated by the people which is concerned with the projects, and the people which is concerned with the project directly or indirectly, we call them as an stakeholders. Okay. And the radial dimension of the model represent the cumulative cost. It means that each radial dimension is represent its cost. So more the number of spirals, more is indicative of the increased cost. So what are the various phases of our spiral model? First phase is the customer communication. This phase includes all the tasks which are required to establish an effective communication and connection between the developer and the constructor customer. Sorry. In this phase, the, all the all the exchange of the customer needs and requirements are told by the customer to the developer. And then planning phase. In the planning phase, all the tasks which are required to define resources, timelines, and other project related information are performed in this phase only. And here comes the risk analysis phase. In this phase, all the tasks which are required to access both the technical and management risk which can be happened in the development model of the project. And in the engineering phase, all the tasks performed which are required to build one or more representation of application. All the engineering work is done in this phase. And then construction and release. After engineering is done, the construction and release phase comes in account, and in this phase all the tasks are performed which are required to construct, test, install and provide the user support. Means we in this phase the product is going to be prepared for the delivery to the user. And then customer evaluation, to obtain customer feedback based on the evaluation of the software representation created during the engineering stage and implemented during the installation stage. So when we are going to use this model, what are the conditions when where we can use this spiral model? When the creation of prototype is important, as after every cycle, after completion of every cycle, prototype is generated. So where the generation of prototype is important, we are going to use this model. When cost and risk evaluation is important, since I have told you earlier that this is the model which brings risk analysis to the account, and when the cost and risk evaluation is important, we use this model only. For longer project, this model is very suitable as it involves a risk analysis where we have to deal with medium or high risk. This model is very suitable. This model is also used when the requirements are complex, because after every cycle as prototype is generated, so if the customer had to add any specification, then after in its feedback it can give his suggestion so that the improvement can be made. So the requirements are new product line. If we are going to work on a new product line, then we can use this model. And significant changes are expected, as I told you earlier that when the significant changes are expected to be made in any phase of the development cycle, this phase can be used. Thanks for watching.